Okay, first up, we're going to start with the NFC East, in which the last place team in the NFC East was the Washington football team. So let's start with them. They had the second pick in the draft, in which they selected Chase Young, the defensive end out of The Ohio State University. I gave this pick an A plus because I think he was probably one of the better players, if not the best player in this draft in terms of pro readiness and ability to make an impact this upcoming year. He had 35 and a half tackles for loss and 27 sacks just alone in his last two seasons at Ohio State. He has very good frame, very good quickness, very good strength, good balance, which go nicely with his pretty decent techniques that he learned at Ohio State, making him a pretty well-rounded pass rusher and can definitely get at it in the run support department as well. I think overall, I think he still has a few things to learn, and I think that's all right because I think there's some guys there that could help him out. He does need to improve the awareness and the instinctiveness and play recognition of his level of his game, and I think that's really what he needs to improve if he wants to take his game to the next level. So overall, I think, they got one of the better guys in this draft, and I think if he really, where his skill level is already nice, but if he really, again, if he wants to be one of the better pass rushers in this league, a few things to work on. And I don't think there's any doubt that Ohio State produces good defensive ends, as they've produced two of the better pass rushers in the past few years in the Bosa brothers. So if Chase Young is anything like them, then I think Washington made the right choice. Their next pick was third round, 66 overall, and I like this guy a lot. Antonio Gibson, wide receiver / running back out of Memphis. He did a little bit of both while he was at Memphis. I gave this pick also an A. Because to me, he's just a great playmaker. You want the ball in his hands, and he'll really do stuff with it. He was on my radar for a while, and I really think you have to love his size and speed that he brings to the table. He's really great with the ball in his hand. Like I mentioned, he could do return out of the backfield, throw it to him downfield, even do a dump off, and he'll let him run with it. His electric speed is really game-changing, as he could really run right by people and open up a game. So I think, he's just a versatile star. I think the best way to describe him, because how many different places you can use him. And I think, as a receiver, he was a pretty decent route runner and has a very decent catch radius for a guy that wasn't a full-time wide receiver. So I really hope Gibson is able to take his talents to the next level, and that's somebody I could really think I could find myself really cheering and rooting for down the road. So good kid, good guy, and hopefully it develops nicely for Washington. Round 4, 108th overall, they picked Sahid Charles, tackle out of LSU. I gave this pick a B-. Excuse me. Charles, to me, he's a big developmental project. He's not really pro ready. And I think he kind of lacks the core strength and balance, along with the not good enough hand work, I guess you could say, or hand technique. To be consistent on the pro level. He's going to get pushed around a little bit in the beginning, but hopefully Washington can ride out the bumpy waves and develop him into what his potential could be. His agility and recovery skills are already nice out of the gate. You got to like his awareness as well. So those will definitely help him counteract some of his flaws, and I think hopefully if you get some of those flaws out of the way, it could be a nicer tackle in the league. So decent pick there. Round 4, 142nd overall pick. They picked Antonio Gandy Golden, wide receiver out of Liberty. I gave this pick a B because I like his size. At 6'4", 223 pounds, he's got the strength and speed. That could be really tough matchup for a lot of corners in this league. He has an impressive 2 years at Liberty, 2018, 2019, while also showing improvement from in 2019 from 2018 season. I think he adds a lot of yards after the catch, which he's very skilled in that department of really doing stuff with the ball in his hands, and I think his speed helps him to do that. I think he could be definitely a more dangerous option. If he gets the route running down, it'll open up his separation, which will give him even more ability after the catch. So I think also getting the catches down, making sure you don't drop the passes you shouldn't, that's going to be huge for him to work on the consistency. So overall, I think that, and I think the biggest thing is when you're 6'4", 220 plus as a wide receiver, you do need to learn how to use your size, and I don't think that's something he's completely figured out. So hopefully they could get that down, and hopefully he can work on using his size a little bit more and using his feet to develop separation between him and the man covering him. So overall, good pick. You got to like the potential there with the 4th round pick, which takes us to their 5th round, 156 overall pick, Keith Ishmael, center out of San Diego State. I gave this pick a B+ because to me, he is definitely a prospect with potential. He played weaker town in the Mountain West, albeit, and he does need to show that he could play with the tougher NFL competition. However, it's not to say that they didn't play good schools. It's consistently the talent is a little bit less than some of the Power 5 conferences, and with the offensive line, you really don't want to fool around, and there could be a really big difference between somebody who plays the tougher competition and somebody who's able to bully the lesser competition, which is not going to happen in the NFL. Excuse me. However, he's a decent zone blocker. He's got the versatility to play guard or center, which is you got to like, and I think he does. While he does have a little bit of problems with the blitz and awareness and recognition of it, he needs to work on that. Also, play action. He can kind of get thrown off balance and somebody could run right by him. It's been known to happen to him. But again, he does some things well, and I think he does have some potential, and it's only a 5th round pick. So overall, I like it. As I think offensive line is a very important piece to have on an NFL football team. So maybe they can make something work, and maybe they can make something happen with him, and I hope they do. And so that way they're protected at the line of scrimmage. So good pick, always to find a offensive lineman with some potential, which takes us to their next 5th round pick. Only 6 picks later, and the 162nd overall pick, they picked Khalid Hudson, linebacker out of Michigan. And I gave this pick a C+, because not a lot of scouts were thinking about Hudson this early in the draft, and he wasn't really projected to. I know this is the 5th round, but he wasn't even projected to be drafted this high. But more on Hudson now. He does have very nice athletic traits, and although he doesn't play the best coverage, he can get into the backfield and really make the stops back there, and he's really good open field tackler. He does, I believe, have a few punt blocks under his belt, and so he could definitely be a help on special teams right away, if not on defense. So not a bad pick, but a little high, which takes us to their next 7th round, 216th overall pick. They've drafted Cameron Curl, safety out of Arkansas. I gave this pick a C+. I think at best he'll just be a backup safety. I don't really think the potential is great. He does have decent coverage, decent tackling abilities. He's just not good enough football skills and not good enough athletic traits to be a consistent starter in the NFL. But rotational, safety's tired, or you need 3 deep, or you're putting extra DBs on the field. I think he could, do that, but he won't be a 3-down starting safety. And I think his potential is very limited. But so that's what you get out of the 7th round sometimes. That takes us to their last pick in the draft, 7th round, 229th overall, James Smith Williams, edge out of North Carolina State. I like this pick, 7th round, and it's a little bit of a, we'll see with this guy. He did have bad stats, and part of that was due to playing time because of his injuries. So I think if you get the injuries under control, that could be big. Furthermore, he's very physically impressive. When he was at NC State, he came in at about 195, mid-190s in weight, added upwards of 250, 260, put on the muscle. He really physically transformed himself, and I think with his physical traits, he can probably learn a few things from young Kerrigan, and I think that will really help him take his football game to the next level and make up for the lack of inexperience due to his lack of playing time. So overall, you got to like the potential in this kid as a 7th round pick, and we just kind of have to wait and see how well he develops and if he can stay on the field. So overall, for Washington, I gave them a B+. For the picks they had, I thought they drafted well. They got guys with later picks, to me, that really have some decent potential. I think they got a lot of playmakers that'll definitely be able to come in year one and make a difference. So I think they kind of got what you want out of a draft. Some potential guys, some guys that can help you right away. Filled a little bit of the needs. And overall, that's why I gave it a B+. Good drafting for Washington. And hopefully their picks can help them turn their luck around in the 2020 season. So that's it for Washington. Coming up next, we got the New York Giants draft analysis, and we'll see how they did as the third to last, or third place team, I guess you could say. Yeah, not third to last. Third place team in the NFC East. So stay tuned for the Giants football draft analysis. Thank you.